Alright, we are ready to start here. As stated, we're doing corruptions for Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. Oh, I can hear myself. I don't like that. Let's mute myself. There we go. Alright. I hope I'm loud enough that it didn't sound very loud. Anyways, we're going to be using the Windows Glitch Harvester, which is bundled with the real-time corruptor. So, let me pull up that window here. There we go. Got a little test broadcast down there at the bottom right. And yeah, the format of these streams, I usually just sort of explain everything that I'm doing as a begin, give a little idea of how I corrupt the ROM to start off with, and then once we get going, we can sort of move in a faster pace, and we'll get to some interesting corruptions after that. So if you are brand new to the stream, don't worry about all the stuff that's on the left here. None of it means too much. It's I'll explain as I go what it all means. But without further ado, let me make sure we are capturing Dolphin, which me and Dolphin don't play nice a lot. We'll see if we can capture it. Yeah, okay, great. Window needs a little resizing, that's alright. Good to go. Alright, let's begin. I already have a save state set up. Let me mute that audio real quick. or lower it. I already have a save state set up. Initially, you would go through the game, set up a save state at a point that you'd like to corrupt, in which case we just do it right in the bedroom, make it real simple. And I'm just gonna load that save state by hitting blast target. So this is where we're going to be corrupting. This is our main window at the moment. You'll notice there's actually nothing corrupted, and you can get an idea of what this room looks like. Let me turn up the audio a little bit now. I gotta watch the VOD afterwards, make sure I'm not drowning myself out. I'm working with compressors here and there, and I haven't actually had a lot of time to test it. But, anyways, this is where we begin. To start off for our corruptor, we have a couple variables here that we can mess with. The intensity, which is the slider, the starting address, and the blast range. The only one we won't be messing with here is the blast range. That's just, I'll explain what that is in a little bit. Anyways, we're going to raise the intensity here a little bit, which is just the intensity of the corruption, or how many memory writes you send to memory. And we're going to adjust the starting address. This decides where in the ROM we actually corrupt. Do you want to corrupt at the end of it? Do you want to corrupt at the very beginning where all the functions are? No, we want to mess with the models, which are usually a little bit after the game starts. From there, behind the scenes, you can't see which corruption engine I'm using, but I'm using the vector engine because we're messing with vector values that are safe to corrupt. You could also use the nightmare engine, however it's going to be a lot more painstaking, and while you may get different corruptions, you're not going to be very consistent, so it's not good for streaming, but we'll be using the vector engine in this case. So, without further ado, let's actually create our first corruption. And we didn't get anything for that one, so we're just going to go ahead and roll again. However, notice up here at the top of the stash history, right along here, we have a bunch of numbers. What this is our save state. So we create a save state with a bunch of memory writes to it. You can see that here in the Blast editor. And on this new window, you see a bunch of just kind of nonsense that doesn't make a lot of sense. What it means is it's writing to a specific memory address. For example, this very first one writes to 891-90018, and it sets a value at that location. Now what that specifically does, it could, I don't know, corrupt a texture for the horse, it could change a variable in the game, it could change the time, it could do a lot of stuff, and we would have to play the entire game and know every spec of it in order to actually understand what that does. So that's why, even though there's 324 memory writes here, we don't even notice the game being corrupted. Like, it runs just perfectly fine, as before. So instead we could try increasing the intensity, or we can re-roll the corruption to see if we corrupt different parts of memory to get a different effect out of it, hopefully to corrupt a more critical part. That's what we're going to do. We're up the intensity a little bit. We'll leave the starting address the same, however we notice we don't get consistent results, so we can change that starting address. And with blast target this time, hopefully we'll get something out of it. No, still not nothing. Still not too much. I'm going to raise the intensity a lot, just to get an effect out of it. Usually you don't want to go up this high, but... There we go. So we do have an effect in this one. Actually, a couple effects. My controls are flipped. But this is the first corruption that we see. So there's a vertical bar across the screen, the A button at the top right, and the X button are kind of messed up. My controls are all kind of messed up, and the camera's messed up as well. So a lot of things going on here, and if one of these things really piqued our interest, we could harvest that corruption, and I'll go over that once we test. What's up, Kermit? I'll go over that once we find a corruption that we want to keep. So we'll just keep blasting it. I'm going to lower the intensity a little bit, back down to 67,000, and that will consistently blast it until we get a noticeable effect. So there's one off the bat. I kind of like this effect. You're just really far away. Your shadows go off screen a little bit. So what happens if I want to preserve this corruption? What if I want other people to play this corruption later on? What we can do is we can open this corruption in our blast editor. And in this new window that popped up, once again, we have all of our memory writes and all the values that they set. And a lot of these are unnecessary. And we have 1,172 memory writes. And the effect that we're creating probably only requires 1 or 2 memory writes. So we could go through here and manually disable each individual one that we don't think has the effects, and you'll see the X's are disabled. But that would probably take, I don't know, it would probably take me a couple of weeks to go through this entire list and find which one it is. Instead, we can just use random rolling in order to disable half of the corruptions, which we're going to do now. You'll see a bunch of these are unselected. And then now we're going to reload the corruption, and you'll notice that the effect is gone, which we don't want to happen. So let's try selecting the other half of memory. We're going to invert the disabled. Now we've selected the other half of that stockpile. Load again. And in this case, we have the effect we're looking for. We have that zoomed out camera. We're actually missing that visual effect that was on the top, that sort of spike of wood coming out. And we have really all we want in this corruption. So now we can remove the disabled ones that we had disabled, kind of like removing the excess fat from the corruption. And you notice our blast layer size, which is just the corruptions that we send to memory, has reduced from about 1,000 down to 500. So we're slowly cutting down on the amount of memory writes that we're sending to the game, and that improves stability in the long run. This is called sanitizing your corruptions, and it's highly recommended. So we're going to continue in this fashion, removing half of them. Don't see the effects, so we're going to invert. We see the effects, so we remove. And once you get the hang of this, it only takes, you know, less than a minute depending on how high your intensity is. The higher the intensity, the more memory writes you're going to have, and the more you have to sanitize at the end. That's really the only drawback of having a high intensity. So we're down to 36, 18, 9. Alright, we have this memory address right here. If just one memory write creates this effect, just one little thing that we send to memory, in which case we send the value of 4 in hex to 10869314, and it creates this weird sort of zoomed out camera effect. In this case, we're going to send it to our stash. Click that button. And it's this very last one on the stash history. We're going to hit a button to throw it on the stockpile, and we have to name it something. We can name it, oh, I don't know. Just zoomed out camera. Doesn't have to be too clever. Now you'll see the naming is on the stockpile over here. And say you download this corruption, which you'll be able to do after the fact, after the stream's uploaded. I'll upload this stockpile. And you wanted to load this corruption, all you would have to do is click on it. And this effect is loaded for you, even if I create a different corruption. So we're going to blast the target again. Something else is going on, and we'll look at this in a sec. I like the, the head effect that's happening. But we can go back and load this other one right back to normal. Before I continue, I want to take a look at this one before we lose it. I like what's going on with the hair and the twitching effects. So I want to keep this one as well. We're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to open this in the Blast Editor. And we're just looking for the sort of twitching model effect. Visual corruptions are usually rather easy to keep. Like, all we have to do is glance at the screen in order to see that he's sort of twitching around. It's music corruptions or gameplay corruptions that you have to actually perform an action. It can take a long time to sanitize. And I would recommend either not sanitizing those or starting with a lower intensity if you're aiming for gameplay corruptions. Alright, and we have a single memory address that creates this sort of twitching effect. It's about as intense as before. Like, I don't see his head dropping to the ground. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So it's intense enough. We're gonna send it to the stash. And on the stash, we'll throw it on the stockpile. I'll call this, I don't want to say Twitch outright. Farmer has, okay. Normally when you use the real-time corruptor, which is the, I'd argue, more sophisticated version of the real-time corruptor package. This is part of the package, and this is the beta version of the Windows Glitch Harvester. You can add notes to your corruptions, so if you're not sure, at least from the naming convention they use, what the corruption is about, you can add a note and be like, hey, this is just a visual corruption, and this is what's supposed to happen. Just to give it an idea for the players what they should be looking for when they play your corruption. Now we're going to go back to the zoomed out camera and open this in Blast Editor again. And as we know, we're setting just the value of 4 at this memory address. And if you're like me, you might wonder, what happens if you change the value that you send to memory? What if instead of 4, you write the value 5, or 2, or 9,000, or whatever? And in the Windows Glitch Harvester, you can't manually adjust these values like you can in the real-time corrupter. However, you can randomly change the values. So, if you hit this button down here, reroll plus inject, you're just going to reroll the value that you sent to that original memory address and create a different effect like this, which I think we're super zoomed in this case. So it seems like that specific memory address has to do with how the camera is positioned on the screen and it's recording the scene. This one flips the camera. Zoomed in again. This one is kind of like a top-down, which is neat looking. If we didn't have the shadow effect in just like the actual room, I would keep that one. This one's a less intense zoomed out camera. Upside down, same thing. And every single one of these rerolls, we're just changing what we send to memory, just a little bit of a different value. We can even open any of these. Like, what's this one's value? We send C3 instead of 4. A little bit different. Creates a different effect. I'm hoping to get another sort of top-down effect, but I may not be so lucky. Can't. There we go. Alright, last one for good luck. Okay, nothing on that. So cool, we're flipping around the camera, we're changing effects. I'm happy with the original corruption, so we're not going to throw any new ones on the stockpile. However, if we were to do so, we wouldn't have to sanitize them intensely, because it already is sanitized. These are just iterations of the first sanitization. So from here, I'm going to clear the history, empties out our safe state window, and I'm also going to re-roll this farm rather effects. Okay, let's go back to that one. Its head started flying. Looking for at least more intensity, but I'm unsure what that looks like. These could just kind of be all the same effect. I'm just not noticing. I think I like this one better than the other one. Let's see. Now they're mostly the same. I'm not going to worry about changing them. We'll leave this for the time being. And with that being said, we are ready to move on to a fresh corruption. I'm going to move the starting address a little bit closer to 0. Be careful doing this though, because you will corrupt core system functions that could cause your emulators to crash. For example, I'm using Dolphin Nares mod, which is fairly stable, but if I do corrupt those system functions, it will crash, and it can take a couple seconds loading back up. It won't harm the emulator or the ROM itself, but it just takes a little bit of time. That's how it works. The music's gone though, and what do we got here? What is this? It's like a it's like a really intense sword, and you're like shimmering your shoulders. Even though this one isn't sanitized, and we have probably 1,000 memory writes to it, you can check. Every once in a while OBS will do this effect, which I'm looking to switch to XSplit just because of this effect. It bothers me. What you're seeing, so I can just describe what you're seeing, is when OBS tries to capture a window that it's just freshly open and it tries to grab it real quickly. It will eliminate the drawing around that window, so you'll see there's no like fill effect. Anyways, the background, I have like sort of a Dwarf Fortress background. It's just, you know, he saw a goblin die and he didn't feel anything. Bottom right there is, what is that, part of the emulator? No, it's OBS actually. That's the OBS window. And top left is our netcore server. So, nothing interesting. Instead, we're just going to open that again. Usually opening it again just resolves the issue. I just want to explain what you saw. Yeah, so we have 1,167 memory writes. So, we can still re-roll that without issue. We may get more intense corruptions from re-rolling it. We may get something that we weren't looking for at all. That's the bed. Oh, the desk is getting messed up. I'm actually getting more of the same corruption. kind of interesting. Nothing that interests me too much. I do like this desk jetting outwards, but I'll leave it be. We're gonna go even closer to the starting address, just a little bit, like that. And we'll roll a couple times. At some point, I'll stop stopping every time that we make an iteration. And we'll continuously corrupt. I like this one. It's like a bunk bed. We can't get in it though. It's lofted. It seems like music is in this region, because we're corrupting the music a lot. And that's kind of interesting to me. Usually music comes after the models in most of the Gamecube corruptions most of the Gamecube games I've corrupted. However, I don't do... That's not the Harvest Moon series, so I guess it's different on every developer. Oh, we're frozen. Different with every developer. Look at that bee. Okay, I like this effect a lot. I always call this like a CRT TV effect. I don't think that's what this really would be called at all. Nevertheless, I like it. And that's probably what I'm gonna call it. Or we can call it like some beta game, but it doesn't have that beta looking effect where like all the models are just very plain. So as per normal, we're wanting to sanitize the corruption, which means we can go quicker and quicker every time. Notice now I'm not even checking if the other half has my corruption. I'm assuming it does. Every once in a while I may check though, just to ensure. Like now I'm just gonna check because I haven't seen it in a while. Yep, and it is still there. There we go. A single memory right that catches this effect. We'll throw it onto the sash, and on the sash we'll throw it onto the stockpile. And we will call it CRT EV effect. That's the only way I can be describing this. I've seen this effect so many times where the lines kind of get drawn like that. It's a common Gamecube corruption. Alright, from here we're going to reroll it. See if we can get a different looking effect. That's a neat one. It's kind of like a, I want to say 70s, like the wave sort of effect of the lines everywhere. I won't throw it on the stockpile, but it looks neat. It looks kind of like we're wearing a beanie. Alright. We'll keep re-rolling this a little bit. This is what I almost mean by beta. Also, what's wrong with our face? Oh, don't do that. Oh. That's right, we can't move the camera at all in here. I don't know what any of that is. More lines. Double lines actually become very funny when you have faces involved, like in Animal Crossing. Just redecorating. It's chaos. Eventually I'll get it right. This looks neat. Wait, is this the stuff that's on the wall? Yeah, this is. This is like this stuff that's over here, drawn onto the ground, so the texture's going off a little bit. Also, look at our face. Look at all our faces. God. So this is an interesting corruption. This one might not require sanitizing because there's so many things going on at once, I believe. We'll see though. Oh no, I'm sorry, this is a reroll. So no, there's only one memory, right? So we can actually throw it directly on the stockpile like this. And we'll call it... what are those houses called in Incredible? The mirror places. Reminds me of that. Funhouse. A funhouse. Funhouse design. Like that. I'm not seeing too much more of this effect. That was a nice one. Nice one, the green effect there. But I think we might call it... I like this effect, but I'm not going to throw on the stockpile. Alright, ready to move on. Clear our history, and we'll start with a fresh corruption here. do I always have a thick one? Why is there always a thick corrosion? It makes me sad. Alright, we're gonna sanitize this. Actually, I kinda like it. Do you see the bed in the background? Oh, it's a reroll. See the bed in the background? It's kind of stretched out. That kind of fits the corruption very well. So in that case, you'll notice that the bed is stretched out, but we're not huge. So that means there are two corruptions going on here at the same time, and we need to keep re-rolling until we have both of them in one, or neither of them in one. And if you've ever done like discrete mathematics, it's kind of deal with what is that called? It's like logical proofs, but we either need both or neither. If you have one of either, then it won't work. Like this, we have both, so we can now remove the excess and re-roll again. This one we have neither, so we can actually invert, get both of them, and there's both. We have an unhandled exception. Thank you, Windows Glitch Officer. If you're unsure why those give me nightmares, it's because if you accidentally hit quit on the unhandled exception window, you lose all your stockpile and you crash, which is not always fun. Hey, it keeps you on your toes. We're nearly there, and we're starting to get to the time where we can either manually disable them or even call this good because it's most likely fairly stable. Well, we got 20. I'll go a little bit further. Okay, we have 5 automatically selected. We can just choose from the remaining 5 to find the effect we're looking for. It's not the top one. It's the very bottom one, isn't it? Nope, it's that one. Alright. Now we can remove the disabled ones, and now we only have 6 left. From here we should be able to guess what they are. And so we have our 2 memory writes, which are, I believe, these 2. Yeah, there we go. So we can now throw it on the stash. And from the stash, throw it on the stockpile, and we'll call this, there we go, that's a fitting name. Now we're going to reroll that corruption, see if we can get different effects out of it. In this case, we have a very large bed, but a skinny farmer. This one we have a paper-thin farmer. That's kind of neat. I like that. In fact, I'm not even going to sanitize this one a little bit. I'm going to take out the bed effect, because we don't necessarily need that. Which is the top one, this one. There we go. And we can just throw this on the stash and put it on the stockpile, and we'll call it Paper Farmer. And we can continue re-rolling these 2. Actually, now that we sanitize it, we can just re-roll Paper Farmer, because we're looking for the body effects anyways. All these ones are actually walking backwards, which is hilarious. Our face is concave. Yeah, let's call it concave face. Just to fill out that stockpile. I don't think we're gonna get anything else out of this, so we can start fresh now, clear our history, and blast start. Aha! I beat the stream this time with a compressor. Oh! I like his head! He's being forced to stamp with this, like, giant envelope. Let's keep it. We're gonna sanitize it a bit here. Oh, that's fun. What do you see in this window? User, and it's just part of the server. You see the button sauce ROM corruptor there. Right. Oh, I can't highlight it. And Nintendogs. My verb of Nintendogs. Alright. Open this again. There we go. Interesting. So what are we looking for in this? Oh, alright, well, that kind of still works. Kind of reminds me of those like birds that would live in the water. What the hell are those things called? Let me find it. Like a bird little toy thing. Drinking bird. Okay. Reminds me of drinking bird. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it if we can sanitize it properly. This one we have the thing, but we don't have the head flicking back effect, so we want to preserve that. So once again, we have a hybrid corruption. So we don't have the pole, but we just have our head tilting back. That looks like we're at a Slasher concert. There we go. Now we have both. On rerolling, and unlucky with our rerolls. Very unlucky, look at this. There we go. Drinking bird. Almost got drinking bird. 5 left, so we can probably manually enable some of these. The very top one is the drinking bird effect. So we're gonna randomly enable. There we go. We know we need that top one selected. There we go. And that should do it. Perfect. So we have our drinking bird effect. We're gonna throw it on the stash. And from the stash, throw it on the stockpile and call it Drinking Bird. I can reroll a little bit. I'm hoping for some more headbanging effects like this one. Let us sanitize that and remove the little like brick that's in our heart. There we go. I'm send that to the stash. And reroll that some more. Because that does seem to have an effect on, I guess, the head physics and how intense the headbang is. Unless that value... There we go. There we go. I got a name for that. Spelled banging wrong. That's great. Headbanging. Let's start a fresh corruption. I sound like we had an echo effect. To say that's gonna sound great, but no. We're just shadowing this one. That's a cool effect. Oh, we're fast. Let's go outside. I don't know if we can go outside over our crash. Why not? Alright. There's just nothing out there we can look at. Kinda reminds me of the Chinese fans that you would play with when you're like fanning yourself. Or I guess you wouldn't play with them, they're actual fans. How they kind of unfold like that. Oh! I like this one. It's very similar to the CRT effect, but we're static. And that's pretty awesome, so I'm gonna keep it. That's just a personal preference. So, let's sanitize that a bit. You'll notice that we're stuck in place, or we were stuck in place. We're good to go now. Wow, I'd also like to keep that background effect, that scrolling there. Let's see if we can. Corruptions take a lot longer. A, because you have to keep re-rolling, and B, every single time you have to confirm that the corruption actually is in the other half. I can kind of move quickly if I know it's in the other half. This one, I'm not sure if they both are. Anyway. We have a single memory right. We'll throw it to the stash. And from the stash, we'll throw it on the stockpile and call it static TV. Static farmer? Yeah, static farmer. Always have to be clever. Can we improve on the static effect or the background effect? Oh, that's a weird looking skin. That's a cool looking skin. Look at these effects. Looks like you have bacon on your walls and your table. What? This is just straight up redecorating. Oh, wow, look at that table up there too. Our face has a hole in it. We look like an anime character who's like has a really tragic past, so he's kind of hiding part of his face. He wears a cloak so no one can actually see it. Alright, let's reroll. I don't think we're getting really anything outside of this. I just like the redecorating effects. So can we interact with the TV? Great. Great. I'm surprised it still works. This is fairly stable. It's working alright so far. Alright, let's play with the devil. Let's be tricky. We're gonna go even close to the starting address. We're gonna start messing with core functionality of the emulator. You notice immediately we have very bad music corruptions. Maybe the interpreter's starting to break. Oh, that was a new one. Wait. Before I load this next one. Oh, I was hoping you'd move really slowly. No, you're just stuck in place, that's all. Oh, there's not too many things going on. I'm actually sort of surprised. We are a ceiling fan. We're still a ceiling fan. Yeah. Now we're nothing. Is that New Age? Oh. I like it. I'm sorry, what? Oh man. Stop, go away. The entire game is bass boosted. Oh, I love it so much. Alright, we're gonna keep this. This is gonna be very tricky to sanitize, and I may not completely sanitize it, only part of it. Because we have to listen for it every time. Here, I have to wait for that song to end before I can even hear my footsteps to confirm that the corruption's working. So... yeah, we still need to sanitize it a little bit, though. I'll turn your guys' audio down just so you don't have to hear it as much. I'll enjoy the earbleed. So here the song continues, and I don't want this to happen. I want that song to crash, so there must be some fatal error that is happening in the song file. Oh look, it sounds normal. How great. Right there, that's the effect that we want, that I think we're losing in the other half. Oh, it fades away. It's not supposed to be fading away normally. Yeah. I just Google early signs of tinnitus. Since I hear it fade away in this half, I'm not even going to check the other half because I know it doesn't exist in the other half, so I can just reroll. Shoot. We're going to call this one good. I don't want to sanitize it any further because it sounds awful. It sounds great, but it's also awful. I'm going to send it to the stash. And we're going to throw it on the stockpile, and we're going to call it... rape? Just to fucking mention that, Jesus. Every noise is bass boosted. Which is true. We're not even lying in that case. Try rerolling it. I'll keep your guys' volume down. It's the same effect. Why even bother? I'll put your guys' volume back up, but we're going to blast a new target. That us down there? It is. I love it. Let's sanitize it. I want to be in hand. I don't know if that's the effect or not. Maybe it's just because we're so far away, the perspective looks smaller. Eating a pan. Oh, we clearly don't have feet. So, yeah. I think upside down, everything. Hoping that you just get the small feed effect. I don't think we're going to be able to, sadly. It looks like these are one and the same of two corruptions because we're always tied together with the two. We're going to see if we can go outside. Find a door. That still kind of works outside, so that makes me want to continue corrupting it. Sanitizing it. So let's continue. So the outside looks normal, for the most part. Alright, so as suspected, this is just a single memory write that causes this effect with the feet and the shoes, and why, I don't know, but hey, it happens. Let's go outside to see how bad it is out there. I think it's gonna be the same. So I don't know if I want to keep this. It's not too very interesting. Or just shoots. I think it looks hilarious, but that's just me. Pretty little pair of cherries. Try rerolling it. Maybe we'll be a little bit happier if we reroll. Nope. I'm not happier. Wow, that's a lot of stuff on the screen. Hold, move, milk. On the top right. A lot of no effects. Oh, actually, this one looks alright though. Actually, zoomed in. So what even are we? Are we like a belt buckle? Oh, the world looks normal too. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, I have Nightbot enabled. I gotta turn that off. I actually don't care for Nightbot. Why corrupt this a beautiful game? Because you see the game in a different light. I love the Harvest Moon series, all of them. And I love Wonderful Life. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. And you get to see it kind of in a different way, which is neat. Like, were any of these actually good? We have this one, for example. Where if you ever actually wanted to see the farmer kind of tweak out a little bit, hey, you can. And you learn a little bit more about the game too by corrupting it. You learn about the memory management, how they store the game's files, and it's kind of neat in that sense. Now we're stuck in place in this one. Is it being scarred? I play a lot of childhood scarring games, so that sounds bad in phrasing. Feel free to check out some other ones too, like I do Luigi's Mansion, Sunshine. The Gamecube ones are fun. They corrupt very nicely. I enjoy doing it. Oh, that's right, we have a thick farmer. Yeah, they can definitely be a little scarring. I'm gonna try raising our intensity. Crashes. Oh, runs though. It's just a shadow. If you ever just wanted to be a shadow man, there you go. Oh no! What is this monstrosity? Oh, his head is up there too. I've created something I should never have done. This is wrong. Alright, let's sanitize this a little bit. Let's make it a little more stable so you can play the game like this. Just big head. Cool. Arnold. I want both effects though. Is this really tiny head? Yeah. I don't know which one I like better. Big head or small head on big body? Let's go outside. Oh, they're all huge. Oh no. Kind of pretend like you're playing Attack on Titan, like a really old Attack on Titan. Go say hi to the hippie. He's open yet, he might not be. Until later. Yep. Knock on the roof. Must be sleeping. What's wrong with her hair too? It's kind of got that spiky thing going on. Alright, I want to do this with the big head. I want to see what that looks like. And then I'll make my decision which one we sanitize. I don't know, big head is a decent contender. Oh, but it goes back to normal outside. Oh, so we can keep both. It's 1 and 2. Let's just keep the corruption like this. Let's not even sanitize it. We'll throw it in the stash. And what do we call this monster? This horrific monster. I got a name. Frankenstein's Farmer. That's what we're calling this. Alright, let's reroll and see what else we can torment this body into. Yeah, that's what we can do. Jeez. It's like a crane's legs, and on the top you just kind of have the end of days. Kinda. Look at this time. Are we in the ground? Yeah, we are. Let's go outside. How about we can go outside without crashing? Yeah. You can be a diglet. That's kind of neat. Let's just throw that one on. We can sanitize it a little bit because I want the effect to be normal indoors as it is outdoors. Our face is kind of gone. There we go. Exactly what I want. We can do a little bit more sanitizing just for stability reasons. She could have done pretty well under this one marriage dress. Great. We'll throw that on the stash, and we'll call this. I don't know how to spell diglet. I think it's 2 G's. 1 G, 2 T's. Oh, I did that wrong. There we go. Alright. D-I-G-E-T. Diglet. Now outside should even be more stable. The entire game is a diglet. Get married. Carry your firstborn. I don't want to say hi to someone, but I don't know if there's anyone out. I know, look at his hair. It's kind of like slicked back. Poor Mark. Oh, his body's not even there. It really is just kind of gone. I was hoping it would face through the bridge a little bit. Did you see this horrific one? This guy? This was poor Mark. He's just been stretched to infinity. His hair is just like slicked up. Very bad. For shame. Alright. It's more kind of like Slendy corruptions. We had assets, not with this program of mine. This one's the Windows Glitch Harvester, which is part of the real-time corrupter package. This one only corrupts data, so all you're doing is sending random values. You could add your own custom assets, I imagine, if you had access to the ROM data. You would just need to know a little bit more about the memory architecture and where they store the textures and assets and whatnot. But yeah, a little bit of research can definitely take you down that road. That's more in the territory of ROM hacks, which kind of blur the lines between this and that. Making mods would be fun. I just don't have time to do it. I'm in college currently, so usually, oh wow, look at this one. It's like a spider on the floor. I only have like an hour or two every day to stream, so I usually do it at the end. But I'd love to. I'm in game dev. God, no kidding. There used to be a small community for the Harvest Moon series, but ever since their most recent games, the community's just kind of disappeared, sadly. Alright, I want to name this one. I want to name it Daddy long leg. I'm a game dev minor. I'm a computer science major, so I do the programming. But yeah, I'd love to be able to go into the game development field. Lots of heads in the ground. Alright, I think we beat this corruption to death. We can start a fresh corruption now. I keep the same intensity in starting the rest, but we're gonna blast it with a brand new one. A little bit of music corruption there. I always dig the music ones. You kind of get stuck in place and all your vertices get destroyed before you get swallowed by the void. Fan again. Mario and Luigi colored. No music. TV. Can we watch something? It switched to the TV angle. You only watch yourself. That's kind of neat. Let's see if we can sanitize that a little bit. After college, I'll plan on going for it for sure. I'll be aiming for that. Fingers crossed for me. It's a competitive field, but it's definitely rewarding, I feel like, because I would probably enjoy what I do. So that's not the effect we're looking for. We're going to invert. That's the effect we're looking for. Right now we're just kind of cutting off the excess fat from memory. A lot of these memory addresses, we have 375 writes right here. Not a lot of them we actually need. We probably only need 1 or 2. So we're just getting rid of the unnecessary ones. Make sure the game's a little more stable. Maybe getting rid of some of those visual corruptions that we don't need. That sounds awesome. I would absolutely play that. There's not, like, I love Stardew to death, and I love the entire Harvest Moon series. I'm very happy with the older games. The latter half I have my debates about. But the problem with Stardew is there's only one Stardew. Like, I would play all the older Harvest Moon games, and I would get invested in the story. I would do the marriage thing. I would farm until I have a very successful farm, and then I would move on to one of the next games, like from Mineral Town to DS, or from DS to a different one. That would be a dream come true. I wish you luck on your journey, and luck on mine, and luck on anyone that's watching us, because the world out there is tough for sure, especially in the game dev community. Alright, almost got this here. Got 12 memory writes. 6. Yeah. A project would be cool. Contract anything. If you can get like a stable contract with someone and get like a decent, like a not decent income source, like a consistent income source. That's the thing I'm struggling with, because you might want to do game dev work. It's tricky to do independent stuff. Like, you need you need income. Sadly to say. So either you work, part-time and you work on the game, or you do full-time on the game and you gotta, live cheap for a little while. Decisions. Make the first game, hope I get sick rich. Yeah, I'd love to get sick rich. I'd love to just have money that I don't care about, but I'm living cheap right now. College life and all that. Alright, what are we naming this? We'll just call it Watch TV, because we can't put any notes on these corruptions, like the real-time corruptor ones, so I'm just gonna say Watch TV. And we can even rename it. We'll say Watch TV, and I say Watch You. That's the way to do it. Imagine if I went full-time into game dev. I mean, you gotta live cheap. You gotta live on those ramen noodles or baked potatoes. Do baked potatoes because they're more nutritious for you. Nutritional. And yeah, lots and lots of luck and what do you call it? Networking and all that stuff. You don't need to go to college for it though, which is nice. I'm doing college just because I like to make some connections while I'm out here. That they play their games, and prove that they play games in the industry, because so many games are coming out now that are, I mean, to be relevant with the Diablo game that just came out, they were talking about how Diablo PC game devs who have been working with the Diablo team for the longest time are switching to the mobile market, and that's why they made the switch from Diablo on PC to the Diablo mobile development, is because the devs switch what they play. And there's some sort of disconnect there. I mean, it's like, do you play your original games? Do you still play on PC? Are you dedicated to that community? Or are you just sort of switching and not, you know, developing for your community originally? But yeah. Yeah, they don't nowadays, and they're legends. I guess, I mean, it still is a job, so maybe they don't feel the desire to play it anymore. Something like that. Something I always like about the Harvest Moon games is it's a game of discovery, and I don't like sneaking ahead, I don't like reading the wiki because I want to discover things for myself. When you develop it, you don't get to have that little feeling of discovery, unfortunately. So hopefully you can find some other interest there. Some cool sounds going on in this one. It's like some Silent Hill kind of stuff. Thanks OBS. Don't want to do that. This sounds really neat. Alright, let's try to save this. We're gonna sanitize it a little bit. I think the little bit of music, even though we cut this out before, I think that still sounds nice, so we'll keep that. Has a little bit of ambience to it. Good, yeah. The sooner you can work, the better. It's good to have like years of experience. Like even if you're just doing a basic part-time job. When I was 13 or 14, I've worked at a restaurant, and I've worked at the same restaurant for 6 or 7 years non-stop. It trains you, you know, you be personable, make sure you're on time for things. It's good life lessons, even if it's just some job that you don't really care about too much. It's good to show up and be dedicated to something that maybe that doesn't mean too much to you at the time, but is important in the long run. Plus, extra money can definitely help. I know I bought my first gaming PC when I was in high school, and I have only moved in the gaming computers since then. Before then, I was a console player, but I'm not all about that PC life. There we go. We have our single memory array. We're gonna throw that on the stash, and from the stash we can throw it on the stockpile. Yeah, we'll call this. What should we call this? It's Wonderful Life. Wonderful Silent Hill. It gives you that sort of ambience to it. A nice little instrumental guitar in the background. It's nice. Let's try re-rolling it. I'm going to lower the game volume a little bit through OBS because it might screech since we're messing with music. Might not play anything at all in this case. So we will bring the game audio back up. And we'll try a fresh corruption after clearing a history here. And blasting the target. Hey, thank you. Anonymous is now following. Is your name Anonymous, or does it say Anonymous in your OBS? I'm not sure, but thank you either way for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're just doing. This is someone else. We're doing full life corruptions. Like the screen goes off. So that actual texture is an object that's stretched. That's cool looking. Alright. There's a nice music one. gray screens. I think I may move the starting address a little bit more back, so some more core functions of the game. I think we can keep the intensity at the same value though. There we go. Instant results. Like the eyes, you see that? I don't have a snippet tool to show that up, but I'll blink simultaneously, which is neat. Oh, if you are sensitive to flashing lights or broad sounds, I warned about watching the stream. We do have a lot of flashing lights. We almost just had one there, so forewarning for that. We got another like daddy long leg here. How fast he moves. Okay, cool. I was looking for this one earlier. So this is sort of a tunnel effect that we got. I got this when I was prototyping the game. So we're gonna try to preserve that. Think about what tapping memory for that effect had. The corners of the room, like their vertexes are just being stretched backwards, and the textures being stretched along with them. Is the wall getting knocked out, and the bottom and side textures being stretched? Something like that. I mean, it's a cool looking effect regardless. Especially you can see a little bit of white light and a light at the end of the tunnel. So. Now I am sanitizing the corruption if no one's familiar with what I'm doing. There's a lot of excess memory writes to the ROM that we don't actually need to send, so I'm just cutting those off and keeping the core functionality of this corruption. So for example, we have 6 memory writes, and as long as the corruption persists, now we have 3 of them. We have a single memory write, and that's what creates this effect. When you write value 438 in hexadecimal to 20937 yada, it creates this sort of tunnel looking effect. And we can throw that on our stash and toss it on the stockpile and call it something. Call it Wonderful Life Tunnel. Which sounds sarcastic. No. And then we can re-roll it, sending a different value to memory. And you see it's the same memory address that we originally sent it to. For example, if I pull this one, which looks like a different effect, it's the same starting address, we're just writing different values to it. And that's how we get the different screen effects out of this. However, we're not getting anything too interesting. It's mostly either gray or the tunnel. So we may move on in this case. That's not a bad one. Looks like everything's shifted forward a little bit. Which makes sense, since we saw the back of the tunnel all the way back towards the end of the room, and in this case we have it very close to us, so we know a little bit about the ROM and that's actually affecting the positioning of that back wall. But there's not too much more we can glean from that information, so let's try a fresh corruption. We're going to keep all of our parameters the same, and we may need to roll here a couple times. Nice music corruption. I'm gonna go back one. Sound a little bit off key. That's kinda neat. Let's try rerolling that. See if we can get a different music corruption out of it. Yeah, a little bit. Sounds a little bit lower. An octave, not volume. I'm not hearing too much variation, so we can call it there. We're going to clear out a history. And let's change our starting address. We've been towards the beginning for a lot of the stream. We're going to try venturing outwards a little bit. Maybe we can mess with some more models out here, or perhaps the world itself. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know too much about the architecture of the ROM. But there's something out here. There's a lot of memory here. A lot of it could be useless data that I think they put useless data on the Gamecube discs. Like, they had to be 1 gigabyte. So if your game was only 200 megabytes, it would fill up the rest of that space. Look at this one. tiny screen up there. So a lot of this data actually could be useless stuff, but we got something with this one, so we're gonna sanitize this. I already got a name for it, but I'm not gonna release that yet until we have it ready. Got a top of a name for it. It does have amazing lighting. That is very true. Especially, you know, with the harvest sprite area and the tree, the lighting there is fantastic. Small thing you don't notice in a lot of games, but the game is missing it, you definitely notice. So it's nice subtleties that go unnoticed. Do you mean the previous titles or the other titles? The previous titles didn't have too much in terms of lighting. You can only shade a palette so much. And also they had space limitations. The latter ones, yeah, I can feel you on that. We have our single memory address, and I'm making an assumption that this is just affecting. Ooh, I got a unhandled exception. Thanks, Glitch Harvester. Alright, I'm assuming that this affects that border drawing and how big the actual window size is. So without even sending this to the sash yet, I want to see what happens when we reroll. I assume it'll be differently sized windows, but we'll see. It's a weird effect. Oh yeah, okay, I agree with you. And that was like the Lost Valley one. The other ones. I was gonna say anything after, I guess, A Wonderful Life. That's the most recent one I played. I know Magic Melody tried. Like I know when they went to the chibi realm, which I didn't care for too much, and it was still had a sort of mystical element to it. But that's where I would say it started going downhill fast. And then you had followed that game. I don't have the timeline in front of me, otherwise I can name them. So we're resizing the screen, but unfortunately we got, I think, very lucky with that first one, where it was actually shrunk. There's another one. Most of these are too large, so I'm going to stick with the first one. This one right here. Stage. Let's do this on the stockpile. We call it... Download, don't you guys have phones? Immortal. And from there we are ready. We already tried rerolling, didn't get anything out of it. We're gonna blast the target with a fresh corruption. Froze. Here we go. We got the big feet again, and we got a tunnel too. Kinda neat looking tunnel too. It's got some more characteristics. Some more stuff to it. Got an upside down camera, controls are swapped. Ceiling fan. Or helicopter. Not even something helicopter. This is when the Wright brothers first created flights. They had suits similar to this. Little history there for you. Oh, we got the zoomed out camera again. This is kind of the first effect we ran into when we were starting to corrupting, since we went out in the sort of farther memory addressing range to avoid crashing. A nice dude at the beginning. We're unfortunately stuck in this corner. It's corruption though. Huh. It's our entire house squished down to like 1 centimeter. Okay, that's cool looking. I want to keep that. We'll open that in the blast editor and sanitize it a little bit. Nearly there. 6 more. 3 more. Yep, every single memory right. Throw out in the stash. We'll call it. Kind of I went off before, just 1 centimeter house. We still have the rest of the house, but that's kind of cool. It's all squashed right here. I guess the table, yeah, the table's still here as like a full object. But it kind of looks like you're running to the table in the middle of the room. That's cool looking. Alright, let's try re-rolling that a bit. It'll probably be the sidewards dimensions of the room, I imagine. I'm kind of just reorganizing the house a little bit here. There's like a 4 centimeter house or a couple feet. Okay, I want to keep this one too. We're going to call this L House. Because this just looks neat. Look at that. Outside, go to your bed. That's just cute. I don't think we're gonna get anything else out of this, so let's try fresh corruption here. Nice backpack. Alright. Nice and quiet room. Okay, that's kind of cool. Our shadow's the only thing that's being drawn here. Package has arrived. It's just inappropriate. Hey, we're Diglett again. And we got like nice Diglett music to go with it. What is that? X, Y, A, B. What is that on the right? C, I think. Let's get that purple color to it. There's still guitar, it's still drum. I think it's, well, it's different notes, it sounds like a guitar. Anyways, steel guitar solo. Oh, you can just barely not reach the door. Really know how the controls. No, that doesn't seem to be working alright. We just ran locks in place. Huh. Alright. There's one long finger. Oh, I have this milker. I gotta get the rest of the tools out of the ship. I think so, wait. Let's check my rucksack. Let's change our starting address some more, because we're not getting too many effects here. We'll raise it up higher. See until we start losing model corruption. Oh, nice! Okay. This one's even more like a dollhouse than the other one. We'll call it... We have to sanitize it first. Oh, don't crash. That's not a good idea. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to open this in Blast Editor. And we're not going to do that. We're going to do this again. There we go. There we go. You can on the stash. We'll call it Giant's House. We can reroll for hopefully different furniture effects. This last one, this one looks like everything's kind of small. Still watch TV though. Oh, no, we can't. Oh, yeah, we can. We just have flat screen now, which is nice. Super tall furniture. Not too many other things out of that, so let's try a fresh corruption. Nice long hallway. See the table all the way. Ooh. I was waiting for that to happen. I knew there was gonna be a loud one. Oh, that's crusty. Oh, that didn't sound very good. All right, my ears can use a break after that one. I think the compressor saved most of that. I might need to adjust it in the future though. I'll go back. What time is standby at? 1:23. I'll keep that in mind. Oh, I was like, did we switch faces with someone? Why does our face look different? Yeah, there's a lot wrong with this one. Like, we have a pill body head. It's transparent, and we walk backwards. Yeah, let's do that on stockpile. I need to preserve the walking backwards effect as well, because otherwise that's what sells it. Oh, I messed that up, didn't I? I think I just disabled the wrong half. Let's enable everything. Yep, shoot. Sometimes happens when you have a flick of the wrist. Alright, so instead of going through this and doing that all again, we're just gonna throw it straight on the stash like that. We don't have to sanitize it. It's getting late. Last couple corruptions. We'll call this... Also, my naming conventions there. They were already pretty bad, but this is much worse. Transparent head. Let's try rerolling it. Long head and body. A lot of that effect. Alright, nothing else new with that. Try adjusting the starting range. You're gonna go a little bit further up. We'll do a fresh corruption. Here, an audio corruption over here. GUI corruptions. Oh, that's what that purple thing was. It was the background of the GUI. Now I get it. And I actually do think we've left the range of most models. We're getting a few strays here and there, but I think that is the end of... Oh, there's one. The models. Alright, I think I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to put this on pause. Actually, no, I'm going to let the music play while I found a song. Yep. And I'm gonna pull up the retro while I'm here, just so I don't forget to host someone. Because I suck at finding someone to host. I love doing it, but I suck at it. And yeah, that was our Harvest Moon Wonderful Life Corruption stream. We have a stockpile from this, which I'm gonna save right now, so I don't forget to. Harvest Moon. Whole life. Stockpile. Stockpile is saved, and I think everyone has left, but at the end of the stream I do upload the stockpile, so you can feel free to download it on the YouTube archive after the fact. I do recommend an intermediate to advanced knowledge with the Windows Glitch Harvester in order to load the corruption. You also do need your own ripped copy of Harvest Moon A Wonderful Life, your own personal owned ripped copy. That's what I'm currently using. It's a cartridge that I ripped myself on original hardware that I have as well. Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to PM me. Now I'm just searching for someone to host. Soundtracks from Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. I usually stick around and watch whoever I'm hosting for half an hour to an hour, so I usually look for something I'm interested in watching. It's a little biased, but I allow it. Overruled. Alright, I see someone to host here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Thank you everyone who was able to stop by, and I'll see you in the next one.